Okay, we are back.
Okay, we are back.
Sounding good.
Okay, we are back.
Sounding good. Okay, so we're back. For those that want to, that's gonna listen, great. Those that don't listen, still great. So what we wind up doing just disconnecting that microphone altogether. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Didn't really need it, so it's all good. So let's go again, and we're gonna go kind of go backward a little bit, and then we'll go forward. Just hold on here. Just trying to find this. Okay. So once again, all praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles of this crap.
Meet your next pillow. Why?
Devil doing all kind of tricks, monetizing videos whose accounts are not monetized. Simple. Anyway, again, all praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Passover 2. Keep it in perspective. Okay, you see it on the screen right there. Passover from March 16th at evening to March 23rd at evening. Okay, there it is on the screen. So, for those that's only going to watch this one video, so you know, Wednesday evening, look at this thing messing up. And you saw it. Wednesday evening at sundown is the Passover. Okay, Wednesday evening at sundown, you'll commemorate the Passover for 7 days until the following Wednesday. The whole 7 days is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and we'll kind of get into it and cover it. Okay. So moving on from there, let's see over here. Hold on, y'all. Just hold tight. All right. And these little attacks that Satan throws our way, and that these devils in the flesh throw our way through the spiritual demon Satan, is just meant to break your resolve, right? To aggravate you, to get on your nerves, to make you say, I ain't gonna watch it. But it's all good. It's all good. So the term, what I want to look up here is the term, keep it in perspective, right? Let's look at that again. I had everything perfect too. But nothing is perfect in this world, in this life. I was like, okay, so the term keep it in perspective. Again, if you get something in perspective or into perspective, you judge its real importance by considering it in relation to everything else. If you get something out of perspective, you fail to judge its real importance in relation to everything else, right? And we read that to say things like the Passover, you have to keep it in perspective, okay? You have to understand what's truly going on. The Passover is a solemn assembly. It's not a time to be laughing around, joking, playing, running, hooing, and hawing, right? Making it about yourself. The Passover was about us being delivered out of the hands of our enemies. Something great that the Lord did by covering us, passing over us, and putting judgment on our enemies. In the time when the Lord was on the scene, Yahweh Shai, in the New Testament, he was about to be sacrificed. He was about to be sacrificed. So he wasn't in the mood of partying, going to a club, having women all around him, doing things of the flesh. It's a very heavy, serious spiritual time. Okay? So keep it in perspective. Now we're gonna go, and there's a couple of questions that was asked. We'll deal with those. First, we're gonna go to Leviticus 23. Again, we'll read it. Okay. And Madam Zion Na'awa, we're gonna get around to answering everything, trying to cover it as thoroughly as we can, and for the rest of the new brothers and sisters as well. All right, so Leviticus 23 and 5. In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover. Now, like I said in the last video, you're going to notice right away that these dates don't match up with the American calendar. Don't let that be of any, don't let that mess with your brain. All right, because we're basically trying to keep our ancient feasts and high holy days on a calendar that doesn't fit our ancient calendar. So we're doing the best we can do. All right, so verse 6 says, on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. You hear that? 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. The first day is the Sabbath, right? Sundown Wednesday evening to sundown Thursday evening is the Sabbath. You treat it just like a regular Sabbath. It's the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. No unleavened bread for 7 days. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the 7 days an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. What does that mean? Also, the next Wednesday is also a Sabbath, just like normal. You keep that as a Sabbath, but it is the feast of unleavened bread. Okay. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna get your lamb, or we may get to it. Let's see if we can read it here. For 7 days, the feast of unleavened bread. Let's see here. All right, so we're gonna go to Deuteronomy now. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to Deuteronomy. I'll wait till some more brothers and sisters come in before we get real extra technical. This is GMS of Mouth Eyes from Yahweh, Judges 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. The places of drawing water is the places of our delivery. The place of our captivity, the places of drawing water. Drawing water represents chores, tasks, things you would do, right? Hewers of wood, drawers of water, milkers of cows, pickers of cotton. These are the lands of our captivity. Those that are delivered from the noise of archers, the archers are those that shoot off the missiles, the arrows are the missiles, right? Those that are delivered from the noise of the archers is the elect. So those that are hoping to be delivered from the noise of these archers, you're going to practice, right, or rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. So we're not going to get it perfect. Do the best you can do. Again, like I said in the last video, if you're one brother or one sister, you can keep it by yourself. You don't have to be a part of a big congregation. Even if you are a part of a big congregation, like you got Great Millstone, got a bunch of camps, but a bunch of brothers are going to do many little Passovers that some brothers are going to get together with other brothers. Some brothers like myself, I'm going to keep it at home with my own family. You can do that. If you're one brother by yourself, you can do it. If you're one sister by yourself, you can do it. You don't have to have a big, elaborate thing, because that's not what the Passover is. That's why the title is Keep It in Perspective. You don't have to do all this great, traditions and feasts unto men. You just keep it to you and the Lord. All right? You're doing it to commemorate a special time, a heavy time in our history as a people. Okay? Now, going to Deuteronomy 16, listen to it. It says the feast of Passover, of weeks and of booths. Now we're going to read about the Passover. Deuteronomy 16 and 1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord our power. Now Abib is a month, and you're going to see that on the Hebrew calendar. But we no longer have our ancient calendars. You're going to see these devils, the fake Jews, you'll see them have, they'll try to do remnants of it or whatever, but they just mess it all up. You just stick to what we got. Keep the Passover unto the Lord thy power, for in the month of Abib the Lord thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. And one Jake was on the last video talking about can he attend the camp on the Passover? And like we said, if you see guys, you're really supposed to keep the Passover and keep your ass in the house. Because back then, during the times when the destroyer was destroying, which was Yahweh Shai, wasn't no Israelites outside hanging out. You're supposed to be inside on the Passover. You keep the Passover, you take your ass home. If you go away from the house, like you go over to a brother's house, when you get done, go home, man. Ain't nobody gonna have no Passover camp. If you see a camp that's got Passover, we're gonna bring it out tonight. The night is the Passover. Blow the ram's horn. They start teaching. Watch out for them guys because they're making it about themselves instead of about the Lord. Right? You keep the Passover, man. See? This is GMS Spiritual Temple 2. Shalom, brother Arad from the Raleigh camp. Hebrews 11:28. Through faith, he kept the Passover. This is about faith. And the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. Right? You don't be out there when they destroy, because as even today, we believe it on Passover, very spiritual time, you're inside. Okay? You're inside. You ain't outside the house. So no, don't attend no camp on Passover night. It'd be different if the Passover came on a Saturday, but it's not. Okay? And even then, brothers would teach and then be back in the house before the sun went down, more than likely. All right, so going back to Deuteronomy 16, verse 2, thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy power of the flock of the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no unleavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. If you eating bread of affliction, you ain't got no business being no damn club, partying, having a big celebration. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. That's why you commemorate it. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrificest the first day at even remain all night until the morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within thy gates, which the Lord thy power giveth thee. Okay? It goes on, but at the place which the Lord thy power shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt, and thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy power shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go into thy tents. 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy power. Thou shalt do no servile work, Salakia. Thou shalt do no work therein. Okay? So, what are you going to do? You're going to get all the leaven out of your houses, right? You need to do this before the actual Passover. Like, you can start tomorrow, really. If you got a bunch of things in your house that's got leaven in it, you want to get it all out of your house, right? You can put it in your car. You can put it in a closet. For the people that's going to ask, what if you can't? Because I saw it on somebody's comment board. What if you can't take it all out? What if you can't do it? You can't do it, right? If you're not able, if you live with people, you're not able to get it all out of your house, you just make sure you don't partake of any leaven during this time, okay? Now, I also have here, so let me just say it again. What you're going to do is everything that's got leaven in it, pancake mix, cereal, cakes, cookies, bread, pies, moon pies, oatmeal cakes, whatever. Even candy bars that's got leaven in it, like Kit Kats that's got the cookies in it. You can't eat that stuff for 7 whole days. So starting Wednesday evening to the next Wednesday, you can't have anything with yeast in it. So you're gonna have to scrutinize all your packages. Even if you get chips, right? If you get chips, you can eat plain potato chips. You can eat peanuts and things like that, but you're gonna have to scrutinize your packages. If you get anything that's got sour cream and onion or barbecue on it, right? Or any of these other flavors, jalapeno, more than likely it's going to have yeast extract or some form of yeast. So don't avoid those things. Go plain popcorn, plain peanuts, plain, this, plain that, right? Even on some granola and stuff like that, you got to look at your packages very carefully. Now, I got here a list. Let me show it to you if I can bring it up here. because everything ain't gonna say yeast. Right, the brother said it. No beer, okay? Beer has yeast. Some liquors have yeast. Some wines got yeast. So you're gonna have to do some research. Get the wines that say kosher for Passover. You can get, I know for a fact you can get Mogan David. That's a Jewish wine. Manischewitz. The Orlando brothers gave me some wine, King David. Right? There are wines that don't have yeast in them, okay? You got to look through all this stuff and get it out of your house before the Passover. All right, before sundown and Wednesday sundown. Now here I got a list that some brothers put together. Modern names for leaven, right? First, you're gonna see leaven, baking powder, baking soda, yeast, cream of tartar, sodium bicarbonate, sodium pyrophosphate, sodium acid pyrophosphate, sodium aluminum phosphate, monocalcium calcium phosphate, vinegar, acetic acid, ammonium bicarbonate, calcium biphosphate, primary calcium phosphate, ammonium hydrogen carbonate, and also look for yeast extract. If you see anything that say yeast or yeast extract, don't eat it, don't buy it, right? Now, I say this. Let's say you didn't want to go through that list and go through you got mixed up. Just look for baking powder, baking soda, yeast extract, okay? I mean, the Most High, hey, these devils are very slick. If you don't know, you don't know, okay? But get all that stuff out of your house the best you can. What I would do, put it in your car, put it in your trunk, right? Put it in a closet outside if you have to. If you got a situation where you live with other people, you can't do it. But don't take it in your sleeping quarters where you sleep. Don't have it in there. Get rid of all that stuff and don't partake of any of it. Okay? No bread. You can have, if you know that the bread doesn't have yeast in it, you can eat it. Right? Or flat bread, but most flat breads still got yeast. Yeast is the thing that makes bread rise. Don't get tripped up off of it. You're gonna have to scrutinize your packages. Okay? Yeah, man. It's not easy. As the brother said, yeast is in everything. This isn't an easy high holy day. I had times where they didn't eat shit the whole Feast of Unleavened Bread, but tacos every night. And even with your taco seasoning, if you get Taco Bell taco seasoning, if you get McCormick's, it's certain ones they got yeast in that shit. So you got to be careful. Believe it or not, the Great Value taco seasoning don't have yeast in it, right? I think Ortega, it may not have yeast in it as well. So you have to plan it out. You can still eat meat. You can eat potatoes. You can eat vegetables, things that are natural. You can eat fruit. But when it comes to those things, these pretzels, different snacks, watch out, man. Watch out. This brother say he go plant-based after the first day. Just be safe. Yeah, plant-based can help too. But even with that, whenever you got any ingredients that is mixed up by Esau, got to be careful, man. Got to be careful. So it's gonna take some research on your part. You got a couple of days. You can do it. You look up anything else. A nigga look up how to cook up dope. You got to look up. Like I said, you can do meat, vegetables, green things. This is actually a good time. You get to purge that leaven out of your system. Let's see if we got anything left. We're gonna read on that. Just hold on, y'all. We can go out of that, I believe. Now, I'm gonna speak on this right here briefly. Whenever you see these Israelite groups that going into this thing with this big elaborate Passover, this is what they're basing it off of. For the most part, they're basing it off of what King Josiah did when he had this big elaborate Passover, right? But this is you talking about a king of Israel, man. We ain't kings. Your ass in captivity. And you can go and read this chapter on your own. This is Second Chronicles 35 and 16. I'm just gonna go verse 17. It says, I'll start at 16. So all the service of the Lord was prepared the same day to keep the Passover and to offer burnt offerings upon the altar of the Lord, according to the commandment of King Josiah. And the children of Israel that were present kept the Passover at that time and the Feast of Unleavened Bread 7 days. And there was no Passover like to that kept in Israel from the days of Samuel the prophet. Neither did all the kings of Israel keep such a Passover as Josiah kept, and the priests and the Levites and all Israel and all Judah and Israel that were present, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah was this Passover kept. Now he kept a big, elaborate, fancy Passover. He was a king, but guess what? Josiah died in battle a little while after that. You can go and read about it. Okay, he basically got shot with an arrow. He was doing his own thing. So we do not pattern the Passover that we keep after King Josiah. Okay, you pattern it after Yahushua. When Yahushua had his Passover, it was a very grave, serious, solemn thing. When Moses was on the scene and we kept the first Passover, the the Egyptians was about to come. The Lord was basically passing over Israel, over the Israelites, with the marking of the blood on the doorpost to slay the firstborn of the Egyptians. So it was a very serious time. With nobody partying, wasn't no fancy garments, and they had to do things very quickly. They had to eat and get moving, right? They had to eat and not get moving. You had to eat and had to eat in haste, should I say? Okay, that's right. Hey, Shalom Bakwar. He said, "Kun," and afterward, the Lord still ended up putting Josiah to death for him being hard-headed, hard-hearted. Don't be among those Israelites that's having a big celebration or a party on the Passover. That's not what you do. Okay, let's go here to Exodus and read it, and then we'll answer a couple of questions that were asked. All right, so this is Exodus chapter 12. We're going to read into this a pretty good bit. It says at the top, the Passover lamb. Exodus 12, verse 1, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye to all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. Now that's a key, because last year or maybe the year before that, somebody said, I'm a vegan, I don't eat meat. Is there something else we can do? No, ain't nothing else you can do. Your vegan ass got to eat meat. If you're going to celebrate the Passover, you got to do it. For all you so-called Nazarites who claim you growing long hair, right? Because you take the Nazarite vow, guess what? You got to drink wine, my nigga. Anyway, so you can have lamb. If you don't like lamb, you can have goat. Okay, if the lamb is inaccessible to you, you can have goat, right? No, man. No, man. Listen, do every brother have to have a staff while they stand and eat? No, if you don't got a staff, you don't got it. The Lord ain't gonna destroy you for not having a staff. Okay, like I said, if you one brother and his family or a sister and their family, don't go out and get no shofar and a menorah and do all that. Keep it simple, man. I mean, you can do what you want to do at the end of the day, but don't put burdens on yourself by trying to do all that. This is not a fancy thing. This is something that you do to commemorate, right? To remember an important time in Israelite history throughout our generations. It's not about you. It ain't about, to get the fringes, the match. I got to get the shoes. I got to be sharp. I got to be clean for the Lord. No. Okay? No. Do what the scriptures say. You don't even, if you don't have a staff, you don't got it. Right? You think I'm going to go out and buy a staff so I can make sure I got the staff when I'm eating? No. Verse 6. And you shall keep it up. You shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. Then the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. See, you're not going to kill your own lamb. You're not going to have right here it says your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You should take it out from the sheep or from the goats, showing you in captivity. We have no idea if our lamb is male or female, how many years old. We have no idea. That's why this is faith. This is why you need Yahushua, right? This is what it's about. You don't have our own farms. And if you do have your own farm and you can do that. Okay. Don't ask the question. What if I got my own lamb? You can do whatever you want to do. But for those who don't have it, don't condemn yourself, because it's impossible. If you live in Philadelphia, New York, Detroit, Jersey, you ain't got no lamb. Yeah, I do, brother. I got a lamb. I've been raising it. I've been keeping it for this. Okay. Cool. Don't try to be deep. Don't try to make it into something about you, man. Do what you can do. We are rehearsing the righteous acts, okay? Now again, it says, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat. You don't need to get the package and take blood out of the package and put it over your door, okay? Your Shai is our Passover. That part is already taken care of. We doing the commemoration, the eating of it, and the commemoration of it. You know, we're acting it out, but you don't need to put the blood over your doorpost. Okay, you ain't got to do all that. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire. You got to cook it. It can't be raw. And unleavened bread, and with the bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden it all with water, but roast with fire his head with his legs and with the purtenance thereof. That part you can't do. Because all you're gonna do is more than likely get you some lamb chops or something like that, a lamb steak. And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. So what you do is if you eat it, whatever's left over, you toss it out. You don't keep it overnight. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. Okay. So as the apostles say, okay, you don't eat it. Now what's going on? Okay. You actually may prepare a second dinner because you might be still hungry. Because a lot of times you eat the Passover, you eating it quick. Okay. You ain't got to try to be extra super fast with it, but you eat it in haste, right? What if you never kept it? If you never kept it, then listen. You should be listening. This is a good brother. You all right, brother. If you never kept it, this is why we're doing the lesson. If you never kept it. Now, the apostles often advise the newer brothers that if you are not confident about it, or most of the time it'd be in reference to the Day of Atonement, is really what they say. But even with the Passover, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. You do your best. One brother by himself, you ain't gonna have the ceremony like you see other brothers have. You're gonna eat your lamb, you're gonna say your prayers, you're gonna bless your wine, you're gonna bless your lamb, you're gonna eat you're gonna eat. You're gonna send up a sweet savor to the Lord. It's a sacrifice, bro. Don't worry about doing all the extra. You gotta say every single prayer. You ain't gonna have a ceremony if it's just you. You're gonna do the best you can do. Okay? It's your first time doing it. More than likely it's just gonna be you, however it is. If you can get with brothers that's near you and they invite you, then you can go. But if you can't do that, you're just gonna have to be you and the wife, or you by yourself, right? So again, it says, and thus you shall eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you ain't gotta have a staff. You don't got it. You don't got it. You shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. You ain't gonna sit down. Ooh, babe, you taste this wine. Ooh, this wine is mighty good. This lamb, man, I like it. No, you eat it in haste, right? You're remembering the bitterness of captivity. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So they wasn't hanging outside, standing around the corner. Man, that Passover lamb was good. You see the destroyer coming? Oh, watch out. You was inside, man. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. You see? So this represents the Lord passing us over. The blood is covering you is the blood of Yahushua, right? It says here, Feast of Unleavened Bread. And this day shall be unto you a memorial. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial. And you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Okay? For ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. That part you can do, you absolutely must do, right? If you can't, even if you can't if you live with people, I'm gonna say it again. If you live with people and you're unable to put all the yeast and the leaven out of your house, just make sure you don't consume the leaven. Say if you're a young person, you still live with mom and dad. You can't, grandma gonna get mad. Boy, you better not throw out my good cornbread. You can't do it. Okay, do the best you can do. Just take all leaven out of the room you dwell in. Don't be near it, right? If you got food, nobody expects you to take all your food and toss it into the garbage. Just put it in your car, put it in the trunk. You see? Keep it simple. Make it simple on yourself. Don't try to do too much. If you live with roommates and they're not believers, you may not be able to take all the leaven out of the house, right? But the Lord knows. The Lord knows. Just make sure for 7 days you do not consume leaven. You're gonna have to scrutinize your packages. Okay, I'll say that again. We just read it. Just read it, brother. You got it. I mean, if you go back through the scriptures, Leviticus 23, Deuteronomy 16, Exodus 12, you just cook it. Cook it good, no raw. That's it, right? Now the scriptures say don't sodden it with water, meaning don't boil it, but you're gonna have to wash it. Like you rinse, just rinse it. When you get it, rinse it. Don't season it. Don't do all that. Just rinse it, bake it, right? Put it in the pan, aluminum, however you want to do it, and just bake it. Don't put no seasoning. Don't do all that. Just cook it. That's how, because you got to think. They were doing it in haste. That's why the bread didn't have leaven in it. They were doing it in haste, right? So again, 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there should be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there should be an holy convocation to you. So the first day of the feast of unleavened bread is the Sabbath, and the last day is a Sabbath. In between that, there's not a Sabbath. So even though don't eat any don't eat any leavened bread during that 7 day period, only the first day and the last day are Sabbaths. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. So if sundown catch you on the feast of unleavened bread, you can still prepare the lamb. Okay, and you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this self same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. Got it? In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days there shall be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Right? Whether you Israelite or foreigner, or you raised up in Israel, you shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall you eat unleavened bread. Everybody got that? Unleavened bread. No bread with yeast, no rising bread, no crackers, cookies, right? Chips with yeast. You got to look at the packages. Be careful. No cereal, no pancakes, no cornbread, no biscuits. I mean, you got it. You should have it. For the new people, like I said, the best thing and you're going to have to figure out what you're going to be able to eat, right? You got to figure out what you can eat. I remember one time, brothers tried to get flatbread. Flatbread got yeast in it. Unless you can see the package, and the brother said, no beer, and certain wines have yeast. Can't have it, right? You can still drink, there's certain wines that don't have yeast. Look for the words kosher for Passover with all your stuff. Even though that's some Jewish shit, you still need, they still got that part right. Okay. Look for kosher things. If you get ready to get some snacks, need to be like plain stuff, plain potato chips with just salt. You know what I mean? Plain peanuts. When you get honey roasted, or if you get jalapeno peanuts, you gotta look at the packages because most of that stuff got doggone yeast. Okay. We don't care about Amari Stoudemire, my brother. If you're gonna put up scriptures, or just hold your peace. Because you got a lot of Jason that love to chat. All you're gonna do is make confusion. Amari Stoudemire is Jewish. What do we care? Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And you should take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until morning. Did you hear that? So why would you be at a celebration and a party when the Lord told them, or when it was told unto them by Moses, don't go out of your house? Right? So that kills all that shit about them celebrations and being out Passover night. We was hanging out. You don't need to be doing that. It says a memorial of redemption. Verse 23, for the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed their head and worshipped. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. Got it? Now let's see what happened after that. Verse 29, and it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. So imagine for a minute, if you could, of our enemies. You know how all your friends, relatives, people around you all got kids, right? Imagine if everybody you knew, their firstborn child died. That's how severe a plague that was. But not of the Israelites. Like today, if everybody in the truth that kept the Passover, nobody in your house died, but all the unbelievers, all the Christians, all the fake Jews, all the Islam, all their damn families, one of their children died. The firstborn of all their kids. Can you imagine what that would be like? Everything was shut down. So in that time, there was not one house where there was not one dead. The destroyer, who is Yahweh, passed over the Israelites and killed everybody else. I thought the Most High loved everybody. I thought he was dealing with all nations. Why did he not kill the Israelites' children, but he killed everybody else's, even the cattle, firstborn of cattle? That's severe. This is a solemn type of thing you're dealing with. You're not dealing with no this ain't nothing to mess around with. Playing, you in bottle girls, popping bottles, dancing, all kind of confusion. That's wickedness, man. You don't do that. You show respect. See, you show respect. So real quick, let's see here. So again, it says, and Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. Everybody messed up. They got up and found their firstborn dead. Destroyer had killed him. See? And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go and serve the Lord as ye have said. All right. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. This is what Pharaoh said. Get your people out of here, man. See? Let's get a quick precept to prove that was Yahweh was the one that was the destroyer. Which the stupid Old Testament Israelites can't even understand that. They think that the Lord didn't exist. He was the destroyer, for goodness sakes. Messing shit up, man. So this is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18. And I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, the master and the servant were punished after one manner, and like as the king, so suffered the common person. The pharaohs suffered, the rich, the poor, everybody suffered. So they altogether had innumerable dead with one kind of death. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them. For in one moment, the noblest offspring of them was destroyed. You got that? So they altogether had innumerable dead with one kind of death. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them. For in one moment, the noblest offspring of them was destroyed, which is the firstborn, the beginning of the strength, right? For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of the Most High. See, they didn't want to believe because they had, enchanters. They had their own magi and whatnot doing little tricks and stuff, even though Moses was helping bring the plagues. They didn't want to believe that. But that firstborn, they got them right where it hurt. For as they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledge this people to be the sons of the Most High. The Most High gonna do the same thing this time. He gonna break the pride of these people. He gonna make them know that we are the chosen people. He gonna fuck up their infrastructure. He gonna bring plagues on them. He gonna do all kind of nasty things. And we gonna come out of this thing like smelling like roses, man. For while all things were in quiet silence, and that night was in the midst of her swift course, listen, thine almighty word leapt down from heaven out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction. What did he do? And brought forth thine unfeigned commandment as a sharp sword, and standing up, filled all things with death. And it touched the heaven, but it stood upon the earth. Woo! Yahushua was getting down. He came down out of the throne. Then suddenly visions of horrible dreams troubled them sore, and terrors came upon them unlooked for. And one thrown here and another there half dead showed the cause of his death. For the dreams that troubled them did for show this, lest they should perish and know not why they were afflicted. Yeah, the tasting of death touched the righteous also, and there was a destruction of the multitude in the wilderness, but the wrath endured not long. So in the wilderness, a lot of Israelites perished. But you see the precept there, man. Yahushua was getting down. Now let's go and visit a couple of these here questions that was asked, right? Which really very simple stuff, but you know how Jake is. Jake got to dice everything up into little ass potatoes. What about this? What about that? What if I have a headache that day? All right, so from a brother, this is from a video I did earlier today, a live stream entitled News, Gas, and War, the Ukraine conflict. I'll give the link out for those that haven't seen it. It was going into, just what's going on with the war in Ukraine, the gas prices, and this and that. So on the comment board, which I just saw it not that long ago, somebody named Tensu Kawakav says, Shalom, for the Passover, do we avoid foods that are leavened by air? What? Do we avoid foods that are leavened by air? Now, I thought about it a little bit. I don't really know exactly what the person asking. I guess you're saying foods that sit out in the open in some kind of way the air makes it leavened. I don't get it. Or if maybe you talk, I don't know. You're supposed to avoid all foods leavened. That's the best you can do. Worrying about the effects that the air, the oxygen you're going to have on the food, that part is doing too much. You're doing too much. Does anybody understand that? If your brother on the comment board understand what this person means, say so. I don't really understand it. For Passover, do we avoid foods that are leavened by air? If the food don't have yeast, you can eat it. If it don't have leaven of any sort, if it's not bread, if it doesn't rise, you can eat it. I really have no idea what that means, but you're just creating problems for yourself. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The brothers, I guess leaven that's in the air. What do you want? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Moving on. Do the best you can do. I don't have time to, to see the chemtrails. The chemtrails got this barium oxide. It's got a little bit of leaven in it. So if you eat an apple and you leave it out, it could get. I don't know that. Right, brother. The water. Yeah, but eggs don't have leaven in them though. The eggs don't have leaven. See, he probably referring to eggs when you cook it right. It doesn't matter if it rises. It doesn't have leaven. Eggs are natural things. There's no leaven in eggs that I know of. We ain't got time to figure it out. We told Jake a long time ago, if you're going to ask a question, make sure you ask exactly what you're asking, because we don't exactly what you want to know, because we don't have time to figure out what you mean. GMS, the bar kabosh. Yeah, this is Jake be over righteous. Ecclesiastes 7:16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Right. Don't be over righteous, bro. Yep, over righteous chicks. This brother Dark Matter Yahweh, who been in the truth a lot of years, you can take his example. He said, I just eat fruits, vegetables, baked chicken, lamb, etc. And that's good. You can't go wrong with that because vegetables don't have leaven. Meat, potatoes, Vegetables, fruit don't have leaven. It's the things that when you start putting make bread products, cereal, crackers, you know, things like that. Chex Mix, certain because Chex Mix got those pretzels and shit in it. My auntie make food like that, but with something like that, we have grace. I don't know, you make sure you make your own food, man. Vegetables, food. Like I said, I done went a whole 7 day period eating tacos, taco meat with with taco shells, with the corn. You have to have corn shells, not those, not flour tortillas, because that's got yeast in it. You can't get those. If you're gonna eat tortillas, it gotta be the corn tortillas with no leavening in it. It's gonna try you a little bit. You're gonna, you're gonna find out things that you didn't think had leaven in it does have leaven. You're gonna be, man, I can't eat this either. Shit. You're gonna go through that. But you know what? It'll make you tough. You'll be all right. This is Hanan, Israel, tribe of Benjamin, Ecclesiastes 3:21. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. That's right. Don't try to be deep with it. Jake always asking some crazy questions. Yep, it's a good period of time for fasting as well. You know, yep, certain drinks got leaven. Yep, you gotta do your research. And don't ask us, do Pepsi Cola got leaven? Do Sprite? What about this? What about, RC Cola? Look it up. See what's in the ingredients. We can't do all that for you. You gotta live your own life. Certain wines got leaven. Like we said, no beer, Jake. No beer. If you drink beer, it's got yeast in it. Now you may have some that don't have yeast, like Angry Orchard. Angry Orchard, as far as I know, is made with apples. They don't have yeast, but I ain't telling you to go buy that stuff. I'm just telling you, there's some things out there that don't have leaven. Now, from this video, which I re-uploaded today, the Passover is not a lamb dinner. You should watch it. I was laying in the bed over the weekend. I came across this video. I don't know. I don't remember how I saw it. I just stumbled across it. I couldn't help but watch it, man. This is from probably like 5 to 7 years ago, but it's powerful. It's a powerful lesson. You see all the different brothers that you watch today. A lot of different brothers is in this video. The apostles, the elders, right? A lot of heads of different camps. A lot of brothers in it, but it's very spiritually edifying. I don't know, man. It's hard to put it into words, but I had to re-upload it. I'll put the link up now for those that haven't seen it. It's a powerful video. I might watch it again. I watched it the whole thing this weekend when I saw it. I downloaded it, re-uploaded it, and then I premiered it today, and I watched the whole thing again. That's how fire the video is. But that's just me, Now on the comment board, there was asked. One individual, Toronto's hopefully elect, asked, "How can I go about paying tithes to GMS?" Right? He said he tried to look it up. We're gonna try to get that address and put it in the chat here today. But the question that was asked, let's see here. A couple of questions. I imagine this is a woman, child of Israel. Do women remove all the food out of the house that have yeast? What do women do for the whole 7 days of the Passover? Now, this is the same. This is for all the children of Israel, the same thing. Do the women remove all the food out of the house that have yeast? Yes. It ain't no different for women, right? It's no different for you. Yeah. If you're the only one in the truth, you do it. You remove all the yeast out of the house, men and women alike, right? More than likely, if you got a household where a man and a woman are both in the truth, they'll probably do it together. The husband usually partake of all the duties during the Passover like that. But it's your house. Do what you want to do. What do women do for the whole 7 days of Passover? You do the same thing. Same thing. You eat no unleavened bread. And the only days is Sabbaths, if I'm understanding correctly. The only days that are Sabbaths are the first day and the last day. Those are Sabbaths. Other than that, you can do your normal activities during the week. You just can't eat unleavened bread. That means what? I don't want to have to say it. If a husband and wife, do what you do. Because those other days are not Sabbaths, right? You don't have to do anything extra. Like you got to walk around wearing a shroud every day since it's the Passover. People ask you, what you doing? Oh, you can't speak to nobody for 7 days. It don't say nothing like that. Just keep it in perspective. Like we said, keep it in perspective in the truest sense. You don't have to stay. For 7 days, don't talk to no Edomites. When you go to work, your boss say, good morning, fuck you. You know, man. It's just, that's it. I knew you was going to have a question. Jay, are you listening at all? Are you allowed to cook? No, you can't cook them days. You just can eat toenail cheese. What are you listening to, brother? Yes, you can cook. The only days that are not Sabbaths, the only days that are Sabbaths is the first day and the last day. I don't get it. What are you listening to? Read the scriptures, bro. Read the scriptures you just saw us read. It gives you everything. We didn't leave anything out. Are we allowed to cook? How you gonna eat if you don't cook? You gonna eat lunch meat, sandwich meat, lawful sandwich meat? You can't eat a sandwich because you can't have the bread. Now, this is interesting. There's bread that you can eat, but you got to be very careful. Like they got something called Ezekiel bread, which is they pattern it after what's in Ezekiel. Fillet, what is it called? Not fillet, millet, spelt, fitches, things like that. You can look it up in Ezekiel, but to be safe, you should just not eat any bread. I just wouldn't eat no bread, right? Right. You have to cook the lamb. What are you gonna do? Eat raw meat during the, eat cereal every day? You can't even eat cereal for the most part. Because most cereal, I knew somebody was gonna bug out, man. And that brother ain't no bug out, you know what I'm saying? But you're thinking too hard. Just breathe. Do like me. Get you some water. Drink some water. Water break, everybody. I mean, they can ask questions, brother. They don't, but think about it. Think about it. Are we allowed to cook? Can we take a shower during that week? See, I know I'm kind of funky, but I don't want to do nothing. The soap might have yeast. Yeah, but you're not eating the soap. Don't get mad at me. I'm just saying. I knew Jay was gonna do that. Come on now, stay with us. Jay 140, 144. Good. So let's go ahead. We answered them a couple of questions. All right. The key things is don't eat any unleavened bread. You have to watch your intake of what you're drinking. Like we said, stick to fruits, vegetables, meat, right? Look, Jake, hello. Now you're being an asshole. All right. I don't appreciate it. You can go. You're being an asshole. I just answered you, man. Are you allowed to cook on the path? How you gonna eat the lamb if you don't cook, bro? Didn't we just read it in the scriptures? It said you're not allowed to cook except what you're preparing for the Passover. It said it. Maybe not in those exact words. Go read it. Go read it, brother. You have to ask me to read it. We're going to give you the scriptures. Leviticus 23, read that. What else was Exodus 12? Deuteronomy 16. Read those. You're allowed to prepare. It's all good. Let's go on. Let's go on. So going back to, let's go to Yahushai's time. We want to continue to push out the vibration and understanding that you have to be serious. Passover is a very serious time. Like we read about King Josiah in I think it was Chronicles that we read about. He had this big elaborate Passover. This is what most of the Jakes pattern themselves their Passovers after. They love to have a party. Jake love a fucking party, man. The Passover is not an event where you have a party, a big celebration. This Passover, we're gonna have boys and men performing. Look, I'm gonna let you answer it. Are waffles okay? Does waffles have leaven in it? Look on the back of the package. The short answer is hell no. No, man. No pancakes, no waffles, no toaster strudels, right? No nooks and crannies, no English muffins. Do I need to say all that shit? I mean, it's pretty easy, self-explanatory, bro. You people are getting ridiculous. This is why most brothers, let's just go on, man. I don't want to, get mad at nobody. Damn. Can you have Pop-Tarts, brother? The brother got the scriptures, Exodus 12. He put it up there for your viewing enjoyment. You just, sometimes, man, Jake just do little shit. Let's go on. Hey, even the sister's like, damn, man. Yeah, that's all it is, man. People gonna do that, but it's okay. Let's just keep it, let's get what we get out of it. It's just like with anything else. The elect gonna get it, and the rest they rest are blinded, man. Can you have waffles? Go ahead and have them if you want them. So this is Matthew 16, right? Now at the top, when you get into it, it says the Pharisees test Yahweh Shai, right? Matthew 16 and 1. It says the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the time? So they came and trying to tip Yahweh Shai, but he always cut them. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. So you see, they came asking them little questions and being aggravated and shit, right? Then he went into this. He answered a question. Then he went to verse 5 here. It says, and when his disciples came or come to the other side, they have forgotten to take bread. Then Yahushua said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. He mentions leaven right here. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Yahushua perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves because ye have brought no bread? Do ye not understand? Do ye not yet understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets ye took up. Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets ye took up. How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So he wasn't talking about bread at all. We can also get Luke 12 to give you a little bit more insight on that, because it's gonna tell you outright what he meant. Luke 12. Okay. Okay, Luke 12 and 1. In the meantime, when they were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say to his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. Be careful. This is why you see brothers say, get all the leaven out of your literal temples and out of your spiritual temples. That thing that makes you puffed up, that pride, that hypocrisy. Beware of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. Beware of the leaven of them, which is their doctrine, which is hypocrisy. Such as what? And like with the Christians, man. The Christians, these Israelites are doing all this hypocritical bullshit, man. You saw it last year with that big elaborate Passover. You saw it then, man. What's going on with Jake? Let's see. Yeah. The brother said if it has wheat or yeast, you cannot eat it. That's right, brother. We can't and will not hold your hand. We can't live your life. You got to live your own life. We're giving you the scriptures give you the blueprint. Follow it. Right? Why you got to make it everything got to be modernized for you? Don't eat no good and plenty. Don't eat no hot tamale. You can't have the Alexander the Grape. See the Alexander the Grape, the little grape shell that got you. Come on, man. Come on. Get with it. And this brother right here, I don't even know what he said, but I can't even see his comment didn't even show up. What did Yaladamat say? I didn't see it. It never came up over here on my thing. That brother, he usually all right. I mean, I don't know. He probably came with another question. What about products you put in your hair and beard? If that's got yeast, can you put it in your beard? Come on, man. Yeah. Jake, hate to read and research. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. This is Yaquab Judah Israel. It's a definition. Unleavened bread made without leaven, such as yeast or baking powder. Not leavened. Unleavened bread, literally little cakes. Tortillas are flat, unleavened rounds that can be made from either. For example, You may be surprised to know that Tostitos, the white corn, little bite-sized bites, the scoops, these things don't have leaven. I got some right now. Normally, that's what you'll see the apostles have the corn tostados. You can eat that as bread for your Passover. You don't have to have literal bread. That can be your substitute. Tostados, corn tortillas, right? Things like that made out of corn. Corn is a good, is a good thing to have to replace the bread. Okay, we just gonna move on. So also, so let's read this again. This is Luke 12 and 1. In the meantime, when they were gathered together, an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trod upon one another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. Okay, which is hypocrisy. Beware of that leaven of the Pharisees, hypocrisy. See it? And you hear it mentioned many times in the scriptures about leaven. Nope. We ain't gonna do a list of bitter herbs. Do it yourself. Do your own research. The best thing to get is horseradish root, but you can also look up bitter herbs for Passover. Do it yourself. We can't do everything for you. We don't have time. We can't make all the lessons and then do all that for you too. Horseradish is a bitter herb. I think what's another one, brothers? It's a Japanese sounding word. I can't remember what it is. Damn. Wasabi paste, I believe, is something they mentioned. You can get horseradish root. You can get the plant, the actual root. You can get it out of any produce store, any produce section. You go to Food Line, Walmart, your local grocery store. Parsley, I think a brother said. Wasabi, that's it. Salakia, bro. What did I say? I think it's wasabi. This wasabi. You can get that, but I would just get horseradish root. Or you can get horseradish diced up in a little jar, and you can spread that on your lamb. And it's powerful as shit, man. It's gonna burn. It's gonna do all that in your nose. Not lettuce. Not lettuce, bro. No. Not lettuce. Not cilantro. I don't believe. I don't think brothers use parsley or cilantro. I don't think so. I don't think parsley is gonna count. Parsley, lettuce, cilantro, ginger root is one. Ginger root, horseradish root. I know those are acceptable. Wasabi, I've heard the apostles say. The other stuff, definitely not lettuce. Okay, lettuce is not a bitter herb. No. Thyme and rosemary, no. Ginger root, horseradish root, wasabi are some that I know for certain. The others, I can't. I know, yep, horseradish root or horseradish. You can, not a sauce, but diced up horseradish it's almost like a sauce. You can spread it over your meat. You can do that. But that shit is powerful, man. It'll have your nostrils, water coming out of your eyes. It'll open you up real good. Don't go to Popeye's Chicken and get some what's that stuff called? Mardi Gras mustard. Not that. Okay. The bitter herbs. That's what it is. So let's get this here. Yep. And that horseradish is powerful, but it's very good for you because it'll open up your sinuses, to have your eyes. Yep, like the brother said, man, just get the horseradish. That's it. And it's gonna be powerful. It's gonna be bitter. But you know what? You can suffer. It represents the bitterness of captivity. Horseradish is also a natural antioxidant. It's good for your body. Yep. And you're gonna know it because it's bitter, man. It's powerful. It's spicy and powerful. But you know what? You gotta do it. You gotta deal with it. So this is 1 Corinthians 5. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, in the name of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, we are gathered together in my spirit with the power of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach to deliver such an one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Yahushua. Showing you that the Apostle Paul and the other brothers dealt with wicked niggas, and they said, you know what? I gotta put a curse on this guy, man. But we ain't reading it for that. We're reading it for this. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? This is talking about in the spirit. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For Hamashiach, for even Hamashiach, our Passover, as sacrifice for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Parabolically and allegorically speaking, you know, don't be damn wicked, man. Purge out the old things, the old man, and all these habits and different things, man. Get that malice and that wickedness out of your spirit, right? It don't mean you got hate in your heart. You hate the Edomites. You got leaven. Don't twist it, because that ain't what it means. We fucking hate Edomites, and we always will. They're a natural enemy. Not talking about that. Oh, you know, what is it? Deuteronomy 23:7. Thou shalt not abhor Edomite. You got 11. Not talking about that. Yep. Yep. Horseradish is very hot in your nose. When you eat it, it goes right into your nostrils. It's some powerful stuff, man. It's very powerful. It says the whole point of eating bitter herbs is to afflict your soul. The brother Dark Matter Yahweh. The whole point of eating bitter herbs is to afflict your soul, to remind you of the sufferings of Yahweh and our captivity. Right? It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to hurt, man. Because when you had a Passover, when you have your lady there, and she bite into that bitter herb, man. Whoo! Even brothers, man. First, it's gonna be powerful, but it does something to you, man. It's like it's sobering. It's like you realize, like, fuck, man, we wicked. The Lord covered us. And this brother said, watch your bottled waters, because a lot of them have sodium bicarbonate. Be careful, right? GMS and the Truth Orlando, Galatians 5:9, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. If your doctrine got a little bit of leaven in it, that's why these Jakes talk about they don't got the 100% truth, then you got your whole doctrine messed up. Because a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. If we got 90% truth, but the other 10 I don't know about, well, it's leaven. You're going off. Let's move on. So let's read here Luke 22. Okay, hold up. We read that one. So this is Luke 22. And we read this and you understand what was going on around the time of the Passover when Yahushua was on the scene. There was a lot going on spiritually. It says preparing the Passover, right? When you go into the blue letter and you read these, what I like that they started doing, they put precepts up here. You can go to them and read them. You can cross-reference. It give you a lot of info. Now, a lot of times, like as with anything else, Esau will throw bones in there, but you got to, through discernment, understand, right? Or discernment, know what you should read and what you shouldn't read, or what you apply with one another. Luke 22:1. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people. Now here it is, the Passover coming up, and these niggas in the background plotting to kill the Lord. That's why I be telling you it's a heavy spiritual time. There's a lot going on. There ain't no time to be partying. Ain't no time to be bullshitting around, being an old jovial, jokey joke smurf type of atmosphere. It ain't no time for you to floss and put yourself out there as you this great man or woman of the Lord. No. This is a time to be honored, for Yahushua to be honored, his sacrifice, for you to remember the bitterness of captivity and what our fathers endured. This ain't no party. It ain't no big celebration like that. I mean, in a party celebration sense. And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people. Then entered Satan into Judas' surname Iscariot, being of the number of the 12. See? So this was happening around the Passover time. And he went his way and communed with the chief priests and captains, how he might betray him unto them. And they were glad and covenanted to give him money. They made the agreement. And he promised and sought opportunity to betray him unto them in the absence of the multitude. He said, we get this nigga by himself, we're going to get him. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And he sent Peter and John, saying, go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat. And they said unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare? And he said unto them, behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entereth in. And ye shall say unto the good man of the house, the master saith unto thee, Where is the guest chamber where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall show you a large upper room furnished. There make ready. And they went in and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. Now here it says the Lord's Supper. Listen. And when the hour was come, he sat down and the 12 apostles with him. And he said unto them, with desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. So was Yahushua in the mood to be a be celebrating and partying when he knew he was about to suffer? Of course not. Of course not. Wasn't no celebration, wasn't no concerts, wasn't no fireworks, wasn't no joking, laughing, drunken women, giggling and shit. And he said to them, with desire have I desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of the Most High. And he took the cup and gave thanks and said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of the Most High shall come. And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Likewise also the cup after supper, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. But behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed. And they began to inquire among themselves which of them it was that should do this thing. See, so even while they was celebrating the Passover, you had a rotten ass nigga right there ready to give him up. And you got the same thing now. Rotten ass Israelites all around everywhere. Leaven-filled demonic niggas. You got that, right? We have to make sure we in the right spirit. We in the right frame of mind. See? That's right, brother. Yahushua was sorrowful in spirit, man. And you remember when he would go away and pray, and it said he was in such anguish that his sweat became, as it were, drops of blood. He wasn't part. Hey, put on the next song, brothers. Get the band up here. Let them to play my favorite instrument before I'm sacrificed. No, man. No. Jake do that shit because they want to be noticed. That's why they look. Let's say you had a big crazy Passover. Why record it? You recorded and put on the internet because you want people to see that shit. You want people to be attracted. Oh man, they like have fun at the Passover, and these niggas know this. They're gonna still do it anyway. That's all right. You got to do what you seen with your father, and we got to do what we seen with our father. You of your father, the devil. Let's see here. Yeah, we read most of these that brothers put up. This is a good one. This is Yaquab, Judah, Israel, Exodus 29:2. And unleavened bread and cakes unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers unleavened, anointed with oil, and wheaten flour shall thou make them. And you can use the ancient recipe if you can get it to taste right. I mean, there's no harm in doing that. But this stuff is not meant to be like you ain't gonna find that it just tastes so great. Like, oh man, the Passover of the lamb was good. Ooh, that brother got down. He put his foot in it. It ain't about that. It's not about that shit. Don't get me wrong. We have a tendency to enjoy the Passover meal, but not like how, like a gourmet meal. It's just the fact that what it is, what it means. We enjoy the solemnity of it, the heavy meaning of it. We enjoy that, but they ain't got nothing to do with the flesh. It's your spirit that's enjoying it. Excuse me. Let me just hold on here. Let me see what I got next on deck here. Yeah, man. Here's another one. Matthew 14. Let's read that. You got Matthew 14. When you go into these stories, you read it. Important stuff. Spiritually very heavy. Anguish. Here it says death, plot, and anointing. Somebody was plotting death. Somebody was being anointed. Mark 14:1. After 2 days was the feast of Salakia. After 2 days was the feast of the Passover and of unleavened bread. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they might take him by craft and put him to death. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar of the people. And being in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper As he sat at meat, there came a woman having an alabaster box of ointment of spikenard, very precious, and she brake the box and poured it on his head. And there was some that had indignation within themselves and said, why was this waste of the ointment made? I mean, you wasting it. This ointment is expensive. You wasting it. For it had for it might have been sold for more than 300 pence and have been given to the poor, and they murmured against her. And Yahushua said, let her alone. Why trouble ye her? She has wrought a good work on me. Yahushua said, man, you know, y'all niggas crazy. And he didn't say it like that, but he said, why y'all worrying about it? She put a good work on me. For ye have the poor with you always, and whensoever ye will, you may do them good. But me ye have not always. She hath done what she could. Listen, she is come aforehand to anoint my body to the burying. That's a very heavy statement. He said, she put the ointment on me to anoint my body because I'm about to be buried. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world, this also that she hath done shall be spoken of for a memorial of her. And this is a woman, right? She did a righteous work to the Lord. And we never said at any time the Most High, don't deal with no women at all. We talk about the teaching of the gospel, but we know the sisters are there, and that's very uplifting. The sisters should feel, uplifted about that. But you still got your role. It don't mean you can be woman preachers or teachers. It don't mean you can overstep your boundaries because you can't. But that's a beautiful thing that was done by a lady. Verse 10, but you got to keep it in perspective. That don't mean nothing else. It don't mean, bring it out, sisters, you got to camp. It don't mean that. Christians will take that shit and twist it to death. Feminists will take that and twist it. No, it's just a beautiful, isolated incident. And Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went into the chief priests to betray him unto them. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money. And he sought how he might conveniently betray him. Then it says the last Passover. Verse 12, and the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, where wilt thou that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover? Now, we just read it, so you can go back through this on your own. You can read it in your own time, right? I'm going to go here to verse 18. It says, and as they sat and did eat, Yahushua said, verily I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me shall betray me. And they began to be sorrowful and to say unto him one by one, is it I? And another said, is it I? And he answered and said unto them, it is one of the 12 that dippeth with me in the dish. The Son of Man indeed goeth as it is written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Good were it for that man if he had never been born. Damn. Whew. You see? So a very heavy spiritual time right here. No time to play around. There ain't no joking. Look at my fringes, brother. Oh, that garment fire. Oh, shit. I got the headband with the fringes. No. Wrong state of mind to be in. Stupid shit. American niggas. A nigga mentality is the worst mentality to have, period, let alone in the Passover. Showing you should know how much people going off when they gonna have these big parties and these shows, niggas smiling, dancing, doing the acts, doing all them dances like the damn Temptations. You hear stories of old Passovers like these guys ICGJC did when the so-called comforter was still alive. Yeah, boys and men came and performed. There should be no performances. Who's going to perform at a Passover solemn assembly? What are you going to sing? If you were going to sing something, you know what you should sing? Strange Fruit. Black bodies swinging. That would be something fitting. That would make everybody cry and want to go home. That's the mind frame you should be in. A terrible, you're uplifted by the fact going back to the Exodus Passover, right? But you also saddened by what Yahushua endured. Serious state of mind. Not no laughing, showing all 32, grinning. Nigga with gold teeth. Oh yeah, bro, can't keep the Passover. And damn sure no unbelievers come to the Passover. No unbelievers. People that don't even believe in the Lord. You invite everybody because everybody's invited to the Passover. Niggas there with crack rocks in their pocket, weed bags and their gats on them and shit. No, man. No. You defiling shit doing that, man. It's a wrong spirit to be in. Wrong spirit. So you can go and read Mark 14. He goes into it. You can just keep reading. If you wanna, goes into the Garden of Gethsemane and all that. And it actually gives up here up top different precepts you can read in that if you go on the blue letter among every one of these here. So I want to read this because I just mentioned it. So let's read it. Then we'd be pretty much ready to shut it down. So this is 1 Corinthians 11, round about verse 23. And it says the Lord's Supper. And then it's got the precepts right up here. All of them we read. We read Matthew 26. We read Mark 14. We read Luke 22. 1 Corinthians 11:23. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. You signify it, right? You commemorate it. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat of this bread and drink of this cup unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. See that? For we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. So you have to pay attention to your deeds, what you're doing. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. So, in essence, you can't be still doing wickedness as an unbeliever would do. Then this is the thing that this is for believers. This ain't for I'm an Israelite. Why can't I keep the Passover? Because your ass is unworthy. You still doing 2/3 behavior. This is for people that's in the faith. That's we don't like to say with your mind right, because we still all struggle with issues. We still go off, but we are practicing Israelites. See, you got a lot of Israelites that's they just part-time Israelite. But then when it's something like the Passover, here come your grinning ass with your friend is on, and you're still doing shit in the world, but then you want to come to the Passover. No, man, you're unworthy. You ain't, as the scriptures say, when you come into a city, let's see here. This is what we're talking about. This is Matthew 10 and 11. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till ye go thence. It's just like when John the Baptist said, Bring ye therefore fruits, meet for repentance. Those that are seeking the truth, those that are trying to do the right thing. It ain't just for every average Israelite yucking about, grinning, being carnal, making a bunch of damn noise, mouth all open, doing all kind of everything. Y'all know what we're saying. Out of order niggas, basically. This ain't for you. Out of order niggas, 2/3 Israelites, Old Testament only Israelites who don't even believe in the Lord. Why you keeping the Passover, nigga? Just because it's in Exodus? That you don't measure up to what's written in the New Testament. You ain't covered. You think about keeping the law, you're going to be able to be saved by it, and you're not. But whatever. Whatever. It does say in Leviticus you should do this throughout your generation, so go ahead. But that don't mean you're going to be delivered. You ain't going to be delivered without the Savior. Period. Nobody is, because he's coming to do the delivering. How the fuck he going to come and deliver somebody who don't even believe in him? Oh, shit, it is you. Yeah, I know you don't believe in me, but come on up here with me. Nope. Not going to happen, man. So, Lord willing, let me say this. You can also do, for those that have a lot of questions, because we didn't read every scripture. If you go to the Bible and you do a word search, let me show you here and prove that. If you go to the Bible and you do a word search on the word Passover, right? You know how many scriptures will literally come up? You'll be here all night reading. There are many in the Old Testament and the New. Just put in the word Passover, and you got all these. All these scriptures come up. And there's many examples in the script that you can read, right? That's the old, then you add another however many. It says Passover occurs 76 times in 71 verses. That's from Mark to Hebrews. It's all over the Bible. So you can go there if you feel so compelled to do so, go there and read. Everything's at your fingertips for you to find out what wines, what alcoholic beverages, what meat, what this, what that, what even with cheese. Certain cheese may have leaven in it. It just depends. If you get anything with a flavor to it, like an artificial flavor, watch out for stuff like that because it's got a lot of leavening agents in it, possibly. This is GMS in the Truth Orlando, 2 Timothy 2:21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Very good scripture. I'm getting a thought that whole thing with people that eat and drinking unworthily. You don't want people that are really unbelievers because you had situations like with the ISUPK and other Israelite groups. They say anybody can come to their Passover. Man, you ain't gonna invite your favorite cousin over to your house. Man, I'm having a Passover lamb. I know you don't believe we believe. You still watch Black Consciousness, but you can come over to the house and just lamb. Nah, man. You don't, hey, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, especially around the Passover time. Yerum Gabar, 1 Peter 2:21. For even here too were ye called, because Hamashiach suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Whoo. And no, you ain't gonna be sacrificed. You ain't gonna be sacrificed like he was, okay? But we are living sacrifice. We make our body a living sacrifice. This is KDC, Ecclesiastes 37:12. But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. Right? He feel bad like you. You go off. He feel, man, I hate that you went off, brother. I'm gonna try to help you overcome that you don't go through it anymore, right? So that's it, brothers. I mean, and sisters. Lord, when it was edifying and answer some of your questions, you're gonna see other brothers do more. Almost every brother gonna probably do a lesson dealing with it. Okay, so just do what the scriptures say do to the best of your ability. You get that leaven out of your houses, and just keep it simple. Don't try to do all that. You see, don't follow them Israelites doing all that. Don't do all that. Well, brother, what if I don't get my favorite incense? Do I have to light candles? If you don't have candles to light, you just don't. The main point is Feast of Unleavened Bread. Eat the lamb, the bitter herbs, right? The wine. Do those things. While you may watch the video showing the full ceremony, you have to understand that you may not be able to carry out the full ceremony. If it's just you and your family, even if it's two sisters that know they Israelites and they the same congregation, y'all can come together and have Passover. If you just wanted to, you can just have it at home. If it's just one person having lamb, bitter herbs, wine, unleavened bread, and praying to the Lord, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Don't feel slighted by the fact that there ain't a bunch of people everywhere with all different kind of garments. Don't be swayed by that stuff. That's all flesh when you see that. All right. So we'll see you again soon with another lesson, Lord willing. Lord willing, it was edifying and got something out of it. It's a serious time. All right. Wednesday evening is the Passover. 7 days, Feast of Unleavened Bread to the next Wednesday. All right. See you again soon, Lord willing. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the whole elect.